Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Cataclysm Crew Issue 7, Probing Questions. The cover is a grid of 4 mugshots. In the top left, Amber stares into the camera, holding a name placard that reads, Machina, Daughter of Traceless. In the top right, Max faces to the left, his placard reading, Rascal King, Rabble-Rouser. Alan is in the bottom left, facing right, his placard reading, Tyrannus, Traitor. Squire is in the bottom right, facing the camera. Her placard reads, Squire, Raccoon. We turn the page and our story begins. So we actually start with just Alan. Alan, you are in Saber headquarters, and we jump in the middle of a scene. It's just you and Lynx in the room, and Lynx is berating you for not being there the last time. So we jump in, and Lynx is like, things could have been different if you were there. You know that you've got different powers. You know that you probably could have stopped it. You could have stopped the elevator, or I don't know what you could have done, but why weren't you there?
You guys kicked me out of Saber. If I was there, that would have looked one hell of suspicious, okay? So, it was better for me to just focus on my studies. Is that a problem?
Yeah, we invited your team to come and join us. You are part of your team. If you want them to trust you, you have to be there.
And blow my cover? Because that sounds like a good idea.
Again, invited the entire team. It's, yes, a little unorthodox, but I don't know. It was Glacier's decision, not mine. I don't know why you're questioning me like this. And Lynx gets all flustered and angry and kind of slams her hands down on the table to the point where even like Sassy, the Lynx that she has with her, jumps back and is kind of like startled. And she's like, "Look, everything has gone straight to hell in the past hour. Glacier's gone. She's been kidnapped. We don't know where she is. And the Asterons are here on Earth. And we really could have used you." And then she sighs and she sits down and she says, "I need you to get close to this team. They have a lot of personality, loose cannons. I'm not really sure what you want to call them, but I don't know what they're going to do next, and I need you to keep an eye on them for me. Can you do that?"
Alan's going to stand up from his chair, and he's going to kind of just, as he stands up, electricity's going to crackle around his hands. He's going, and he looks at Lynx, missing Lynx, apologies, ML. He looks at her and goes, "I'll get close to this team. We will find Glacier. I'll clean up your mess."
We get a really good panel of the two of them, like, face to face, and like electricity is like crackling around your hands to the point where Lynx's hair is kind of standing up on her head, and she's not backing down. She's glaring at you, and then she sighs. It's the same panel, still that like super close up, but she sighs and kind of deflates, and she's like, I want Glacier to come home." And for a moment, you forget that you remember that she's like 25, 24. She's like young 20s. And Glacier was kind of like her mom. And you can see just how like upset she is. She turns and she says, "Boost and Outlet are in charge of Saber for right now. So if you need anything, contact them. But I think you should get out of here before we let your team leave. Your team is being talked to." And then we cut over to your team being talked to. And it's Boost and Outlet who have locked doors, and it's one with each. So it's Outlet is in the room with Machina, and Boost is in the room with Max. And then we also see Squire is in the room with another. Squire's in the room with Sass. So it's like the three of them being interrogated by these people. We're gonna start with Machina. Outlet is in your room. Outlet is like, "So, you were in charge of getting Traceless from his cell to the elevator. And that didn't go so well. So talk to me about what happened."
I mean, he just slipped out.
Yeah, of the handcuffs that you would put him in, right? The handcuffs the handcuffs that don't unlock unless someone unlocks them.
I guess I hadn't tightened them enough.
Huh, that's so wild. It's so funny how that happened. So we did a little bit of digging. Did you know that Your dad is a professional hacker. Outlet kind of like walks around, and as she's walking along the table that you're handcuffed to currently, she's trailing her finger along it, and like this like line of electricity is following her. It's a really, really cool looking effect. And she says, "So funny that your father, Amber, is a professional hacker when Traceless, who got away under your care, is a professional hacker. Isn't that funny, Amber?"
I don't know. My dad just isn't tech. I haven't really cared enough to ask what exactly he does.
Yeah, I suppose that makes sense. Well,
Like, I'm a teenager. Do you expect me to care what my parents do for a living? No.
Outlet kind of laughs in spite of herself because Outlet does really like you, and Outlet's not great at being the bad guy. And then she like straightens up and she's like, "I, and then she like presses a button on her watch and like reads a thing on her watch. It's clearly like some sort of like screen that is telling her like what buttons to poke, and she's like, so damn it, look, Machina," and she sits down with you and she's like, "I'm not good at this whole interrogation thing. Can you just be honest? Is Traceless your dad?"
No.
"Okay, I trust you." And she snaps her fingers and the handcuffs unlock and she says, "We'll get you back with the rest of your team. We'll get you home safe. It's kind of scary out there right now. I don't know how much you've heard over the radios, but there were aliens who attacked, and
Oh, so there's even more than that than the nonsense downstairs. Cool, great, awesome.
yeah, the MMM got 3 of their best operatives out of our prisons, and aliens are attacking the city, and it's kind of a shit show. So we've got
Cool.
someone assigned to get you home safe. Don't worry, but we'll get you back with your team before we let you go." And we cut over to Rascal King.
Can I set how that panel starts?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I think like Rascal King is just walking around the room, like pantomiming this fight, and like we cut in the middle of a sentence, like then Lynx got her ass kicked, and then I punched Vixen right in the face, and then we had things handled. Well, pretty much. Where's Squire?
Boost is literally just cracking up in the corner. Boost is like, I was there, right? You know that I saw like most of this happen.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool, wasn't it?
I mean, you tell a good story, and you did almost punch Vixen in the face. Well, I mean, it's Vixen. She's kind of harmless, unless you're talking to Lynx, who thinks she's the biggest villain in all of the city. So yeah, no, I think that you're probably right that is exactly what happened. Look, I gotta ask, and this is a weird question, but is Traceless Machina's dad?
I don't know. You're all the one who caught him.
Yeah, but like we're not good at. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. And he sits
And
down
Max
with
probably
you.
has like real shifty eyes in this panel.
Yeah,
Like,
they sit down with
refusing to make
you.
eye contact.
You're not sitting down, but they sit down and like gesture for you to sit. Do you sit?
I probably like stand behind the chair. I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth.
They're like, we're not great at tracking the secret identities of supervillains. I think if we were, then it'd be a much safer place because we could just, arrest them. But we're a bit worried about Traceless and Machina's relationship, if there is one. And I know that you and Machina are pretty close, so I just wanted to check again and see again if you know anything. So,
No,
Rascal King.
I've never met her dad.
And Bruce looks at you and is like, all right, so that one definitely wasn't a lie. I can tell that one wasn't a lie. Earlier, not so sure, but right now, you're telling the truth. And damn it, kid, we've got bigger fish to fry, so cool. We'll let you go. And we cut over to the third room where we see Squire and Sass just in a full fight. They are just full, like, rolling on each other in the room, like, scratching at each other. And, like, the door opens, and Max, you're standing in the doorway. And both of them look up. Max and Lynx are both standing in the doorway, stone-faced. Lynx is stone-faced. I don't know if Max is stone-faced. And the door swings open, and the two animals look at you super guiltily.
Can we get a panel where, like, Lynx and I both whistle at the same time and then kind of, like, glare at each other a little bit?
Absolutely. And then we get the two of you, Machina and Rascal King, Alan, they let you go a little bit earlier, so you didn't run into your team. But we get Machina and Rascal King standing in the ruined lobby of Saber headquarters, the main Saber headquarters, which is under the city.
Can we get like in that panel, like them just like meeting eyes with like kind of one of that like yikes faces?
I like it.
Absolutely. And then there's a about 9 foot tall, essentially living suit of armor who is with you and is like, all right, I'm gonna get you home now. You would know him as the Steel Bullet. He was a experiment that Saber made many, many years ago that was a Silver Age hero, but Alphonse had a secret identity, but has quickly lost all sense of personality. So the Steel Bullet is who he is now, kind of all the time, kind of devoid of a personality, but a good fighter when it comes to it, and one of Saber's stronger members. So it makes sense that he's the person who's like assigned to bodyguard you through the city. And he's like, all right, we know where Machina lives. We don't know where Rascal King lives. So I think we should
I'm
go to
actually
Machina's
like
house.
spending the night with Rascal King. We're having like an all-night study session for this huge test tomorrow.
Yeah, you can just drop us off at the bus stop.
I've been instructed to take you back to your house.
I mean, you've heard of me before, right? I'm
Go ahead and
Rascal
trigger that
King.
move.
It's a brand new move. I have to roll it. Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and mark potential.
So on a miss, they don't take you seriously or mistrust you moving forward.
He looks at you and he laughs and he's like, yeah, I have heard of you. I heard you almost punched Vixen in the face. What a scam.
No, I punched Vixen. I almost punched Lynx.
You're such a scamp. And he ruffles your hair. You have the crown on your head, so it's like kind of painful. But
Oh,
it's
I'd like a
still-
close-up of just a absolutely devastated face on Max.
Absolutely. And he's like, all right, I'll drop you at the bus station. But just so you know, we have drones all over the city right now looking for you. Or looking out for some people. So we'll probably follow you home anyway. So,
Cool, that's not creepy at all.
Yeah.
hey, you gotta do what you gotta do when the world's invaded by aliens, right? And then he leads you to, there's a armored car parked outside the rubble, and he opens the door and he's like, after you. We see the two of you get in the car and drive. So we're gonna jump to Max's house then, with Amber and Max back in that bedroom that we were when we got the call earlier. Alan, you were instructed to find the team and like check in on them, get close to them again. How are you gonna work about doing that? Are you gonna try to find them tonight or wait till tomorrow? What's your plan?
Yeah, what does Max's house look like?
It's like a floor of like penthouse suite in like a high building.
So no fire escapes.
Alan, have you ever been there before?
That's what I was about to ask, because it would be somewhere I've actually been.
You at least know where it is. Max is real secretive to anyone he doesn't trust, but the moment like that you join the team, he's like, I trust you implicitly. Like, hey, here's my address, here's my phone number, here's my real life name.
That's not
So, yeah,
dangerous.
you
at
at the
all.
least know where it is. If you want to have been over before, that's completely cool with me.
So, Alan, if you want, you know where he lives. So we're gonna start with the two of them, but at any moment you can like ring the doorbell and just go ahead and start the scene. And like
I'm
jump
totally
in.
down with the fire escape, like at my window too.
I was gonna say if you have a fire escape, that's what I ask is if it was high enough. If it's too high, which is a possibility because penthouses can be pretty high. I want to be sitting on the window washer's little thing. And I'm just kind of sitting out there and looking in through the window while eating a sandwich.
Amazing.
And by the way, I have like a baggie full of like small cut in half sandwiches beside me, sitting on this thing.
I assume they're cut into like the nice little triangles, like the
Heck
4-quarter triangle cuts.
Heck yeah.
So let's start with Amber and Max, and then Alan. Whenever you want to knock on that window, you are more than welcome to knock on that window.
Can we start this scene with Max in this exact same text he was saying to Boost? Like talking to Amber while just bouncing around the room, pantomiming the fight.
Absolutely.
And then I pinch Vixen right in the face. And what's
Max, I
Amber
was
doing?
there
Why does everyone keep saying that?
because we
It
were
doesn't make the
all
story
there.
less cool.
Oh, what did they ask you during the interrogation?
They asked me if I knew who your dad was.
What'd you tell them?
I told them I've never met your dad.
Cool.
Think
Cool.
they believe me? What'd they
Cool.
ask you?
They asked if he was my dad. And I told them that I don't know what my dad does for a living because I'm a teenager that doesn't give a fuck. And I think she bought it, so.
Oh, yeah. What does your dad do for a living? Well, I mean, like, you know, I didn't know what he really does, but, like, never mind. Max, like, turns and, like, looks out the window awkwardly.
As Max looks out the window, he sees like just a light, just kind of waving back and forth. 5 lights, looks like a glove, maybe a hand, just kind of waving into the window.
And immediately pop the window open.
Amber's immediately in a fighting stance.
Hi, Max. How are you?
Hey, Alan, come on in. Where you been?
Homework. Doing homework. So, what I miss other than the mess with the sky and all that good jazz?
I'd like a panel of like Max turning and like just like eyes lighting up, smiling at Amber. He hasn't heard it.
Go for it.
And then can we get like a cutting back into the panel with the exact same ending bit? And then I punch Vixen in the face.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Max,
That sounds like you're sharing in a celebration. Like,
yeah, then I think I'll end it all with like, man, if you were there, you probably could and zapped him. And that is my way of telling Alan how he's awesome.
awesome. Can you read me your sharing a triumphant celebration?
When you share a triumphant celebration with someone, tell them how they're awesome and add a team to the pool. If they tell you how you're awesome in return, add another team to the pool.
He's just gonna like stare in Max's general direction, like, neat. So where have you guys actually been? Because I've been out here for a while.
That's what we were doing.
Oh, so that was okay. Okay.
That was actually true.
All right then. So where were you guys after that? Because the alien invasion, that's been going on for a little while.
We were getting debriefed and whatnot.
Some metal dude drove us home.
Alphonse?
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Huh. Good to know he still has work.
Somewhere Alphonse takes a powerful blow.
Does Alan know about Machina's dad yet?
I was about to ask that exact same thing.
No idea.
Machina, have you told him?
I don't know. Yeah, have you told me?
I don't think so, because when we filled an Etheril, that was in person. So
That makes sense.
And Max definitely would not have said that in his retelling of what happened.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to share it yet.
Is there a spinny chair in the room?
There is a spinning chair in the room, yeah.
Beautiful. Alan wants to walk over to the spinny chair, sit down, and like spin in it, and just have electricity just like all across the floor, and go, all right. And he stops and he looks at Amber and Max and goes, okay, well, what are we doing tonight?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing some of those aliens.
What time of day is it?
It's very, very late night. It's like solid like 2:30 in the morning. So are we gonna go see the aliens? Is that the
I mean,
plan?
Max, upon saying that, would probably like head over and like grab his costume and kind of looking at the
Yeah,
other two, like, are we doing it?
I don't have they gotten out of costume since they just came from a mission.
I
don't
assumed
think
that
so.
would have like changed like before going into the building in a
Oh,
vain
yeah,
attempt
true.
to hide
True.
where I live.
True. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can get in costume. Yeah.
Does anyone want to do anything before we head over to where the aliens are?
I do want a small panel. If the spinny chair is near like a computer desk, I want a small like extra panel showing that the electricity has absolutely fried the computer on the desk.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that, as we see the three of you leaving the room, that we see is that there was a small like insect-like microphone that had flown in behind you when you went in the room that had landed and had also gotten fried due to the electricity spin. So on the ground by the window is like a dead like bug essentially.
Oh, fun.
So Alan actually walks over to the window and crushes this thing before opening the window and just kind of floating out using like electricity, just zapping the ground as he floats out.
Cool, you are pretty high up. So are you like jumping off this penthouse and like flying down? Are you
Yeah. Alan,
Great.
I was gonna say that Alan can fly. He
Yeah.
just uses the power of electricity to do so.
That makes sense to me.
That
You
sounds
established
cool.
there was a painter thing or a window cleaning thing outside my window, right?
There is. Was. I don't know if there is anymore.
Because I'm probably going down in that way too quick.
It's still there, yeah.
I think Amber's gonna join Max in the whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Okay,
so the
hold on,
window
I'm
cleaner
looking it
thing
up.
is way slower than you would think it would be. So like Alan zooms down and a little bit later we see the two of you like struggling to make it down because it doesn't maneuver well with two people, but it does make it to the ground floor so you can get off. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut over to the park. The park is still kind of like a little wrecked from where you all were fighting Poison Oak just a couple days before. But now added to this park, there is a giant Asteron spaceship. It's about 30 feet or so floating away from the water tower, right on the edge of the beach, like floating kind of half over the beach, half over the water of the bay. And it's just very intimidating looking. It's spiky and black with red glowing lights and terrifying. And yeah, you arrive at about 2:30 in the morning and there's just a crowd of people. Like there are probably 30, 40 people standing and like with their phones out, taking videos on Instagram Live, like taking videos of this thing. Are you all in costume or are you all
Yeah.
I'm almost always in costume, so yeah.
awesome? So as you walk over, you recognize Matt, who we remember as the little boy's older brother who goes
Oh
to your
yeah,
high
that
school.
dude.
The kid whose cake the pterodactyl stole, his older brother, like the douchebag who we don't like. He and like a bunch of other like hooligan looking folks are like standing there with spray cans and stuff, and they see you all walk over, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! It's those guys from earlier." And they're like, they immediately put the straight spray cans behind their back, and they're like, "We weren't gonna go spray the alien spaceship from the water tower. We would never do that. We wouldn't do it. I promise."
We're not here to arrest you. Get back to you doing your spraying. No one
In
cares.
fact, please graffiti this alien spaceship.
They're like, "All right, cool. Hey, you all don't happen to have any idea how we're gonna get from the water tower across the 30-foot gap to the spaceship, do you?"
You guys got any ideas? I say as I begin to fly up towards the spaceship.
One of the kids is like,
Why?
"I made a grappling hook," and he like holds it out, and it's very clearly like rope that they bought from a store. That's really more like yarn. It's like really thick yarn tied to like a fishing hook. It's not gonna do jack shit, but they're like, "We made a grappling hook,
How big is the alien ship?
like the size of like your average elementary school, so
Beautiful.
large. It's very, very big."
How much would it move if I flew around it to the other side and hit it with everything I had?
I mean, I would assume a couple feet, maybe. You'd have to try to move it.
I think, can we also get a panel of like after we see this grappling hook of like Amber looking at it and just telling them like, yeah, that thing's not rated for anything more than 5 pounds.
The kid like kind of deflates a little bit and is like, "I don't have cool superpowers like you or like Rascal King here." And we see a panel of Squire like balking and being really surprised that everyone thought Rascal King had powers.
I want Rascal King to kind of like heroic pose and just grin.
There's a younger guy, probably like 13 years old, with the group, and he turns to Matt and he's like, "Rascal King is so cool." And Matt's like, "Yeah, but like, I don't know, he just seems like a dweeb." We get a panel cutting back, a flashback panel of Matt calling Max a dweeb in the hallway. And we cut back to the scene here. Whereas Alan is flying over towards the
Actually, before he does that, Alan flies back down to the kids, looks at the kids, and goes, "You two, stop stroking his ego. You stop hurting his feelings. Machina and Rascal, get these kids off the water tower. I'm gonna look for a way in." I guess I'm provoking.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
like
like a provoke.
I'm like taking command because I'm like, yeah, these kids are annoying me now.
Yeah, that sounds like
And
a
they're
provoke.
in
Go
the
ahead and
way.
roll for that.
Oh, look at you flexing on me by rolling well.
So that's a 7. The kid, the Matt, who's kind of the douchebag kid, is like, he overreacts and he's like, "All right, sorry, Rascal King. You're the best. You're the coolest ever. I'm so sorry. Didn't mean to hurt your feelings." And he doesn't sound sincere, but I think you still take it to heart, Max.
So I think Machina is just kind of gonna, with her current emotional state, just kind of really just like shout at them, just being like, "Get," with like this look of just like, don't fuck with her.
Yeah, the kids scatter. You're wearing your suit, right?
Yeah.
Is there any like lighting effect? Does it like light up angry, or is it just like you just yell?
Yeah, it lights up red.
I love it.
It's got some cool LED lights in it.
Phenomenal. So the kids are running off, and as they're going, the younger one, like the 13-year-old, is like, "Wow, they're all so cool." And then we see like a smack as like Matt kind of like slaps him on the back of the head, and then they kind of like scamper off into the darkness.
Can I get a
And-
panel of Rascal King watching them and then like turns up to look at the spaceship with Squire on his shoulder and like turns to her and goes, "Dweeb wouldn't get to drive that thing."
I'm sighing at your. Okay. Anyway,
I just want to drive anything.
I know you want to have the vehicle. I know what your drive
I
is
want to
right
drive
now.
that pterodactyl, but you know.
Cool. So let's stick with Alan for a sec. Alan, what do you want to do?
My main goal is to I want to fly up and around the ship as quickly as I can. I don't know how quickly I can move, but fly up and look for any entrances or openings because I want to I want to take this ship out.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are, as you fly around, the spaceship is kind of like the top surface of it is pretty angular and pretty sharp. It's like a pretty steep incline. And there are a couple points on the walls of it where there are doorways. It doesn't seem like there's any handles or anything on them, but there are panels next to them. So there are options there of ways to get in through that, but it doesn't look like there's any vents or anything, any other ways to get out or ways to get in or out besides these doorways.
Okay. I actually want to assess the situation a little bit more.
Assess the situation away. Perfect. That is a 7. On a 7 to 9, you can ask 1.
What here can I use to get Amber into the ship?
There are laser guns like pointed on the ship, like laser turret kind of things. You might be able to like blast a hole in the water tower and like knock a piece of it off and like make a bridge from water tower to ship. That would probably be the quickest way in, is to like make some sort of bridge. There's no convenient like pod or flying mechanism there to get her in.
Okay. I was going to say, could I fly down, pick her up, and take her to one of the panels?
Oh yeah, I mean you could easily pick her up. You have that capability.
Okay.
Yeah, she's pretty small.
She
Okay,
might want to like piggyback so that you're not wrapping your electricity hands around her, but like you can get on there.
Yeah. Okay. I actually.
His electricity hands wouldn't really do much to her, so.
Yeah, it would. Remember, she's immune to my power.
Oh, fair, true.
I don't know if immune is the right word, but yeah, she's yeah. So
She
I'm
could
gonna.
conduct it.
Yeah, our powers work very well in the. Hold on, I'll find the word.
In tandem?
Yeah, that works. Anyways, I want to fly down back to the water tower and look at Machina and Rascal King and be like, okay, I found some panels that would allow us in. We still need a way that can get us in, and that can help us put this ship on the ground. Us putting this ship on the ground means that Rascal King can get in, and I hadn't thought beyond that much.
We'll figure it out when we get in.
It Rascal King like looking up at the tower is like, I think I can get on the ship. If you guys can get up there, I think I can get myself up there.
Can you make that jump?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna start running towards the tower and just start climbing up it with Squire.
I'll trust that. You with me, Machina?
Sure.
All right, I'm actually I'm gonna turn around and kind of motion for you to jump on my back.
Show jump on.
Awesome. I'm gonna fly. What I want to do then is fly up to one of the panels and drop her off, and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna let you try to get in through here. I'm gonna see if I can blow off one of these turrets and try to limit the defenses."
Cool.
So as you land, it's funny that you mentioned the turrets, because the turrets start coming to life, and like they turn pretty quickly and notice the two of you. And we see the like power charging up as they get ready to fire. As they charge and we see them getting ready to fire, we jump over to Rascal King, who has now made it to the top of the water tower.
Can the first panel be like, as I'm coming up to the very top, like Squire's climbing up right beside him? It's like, can you make that jump? I'll make that jump.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then we get like a couple panels like Rascal King like running up to the edge of the water tower and like stopping short and then like stepping back and then like running up and then leaping off with Squire like holding by the hands and then the two of them like spinning through the air like acrobats, like using each other as counterweights.
All right, I'm gonna have you I'm gonna have you unleash your powers for that one.
Okay, so my freak is a -2. But,
Wonderful. This is going to go well.
But Squire gives me a +1, so we're only at a -1.
Went well.
It would be real great if you guys wanted to help.
Okay, so I drop. Alan drops off Machina, sees Rascal about to make the leap, and quickly he wants to fire off. How many turrets are pointed? I want to ask real quick. How many turrets are pointed at Alan and Machina right now?
3 right now.
Okay, what I want to do is I want to quickly fire off 3, like not burns, because I'm not using that much power. I just want to quickly fire off 3 lightning strikes towards the turrets to kind of get their attention on me, and then fly as fast as I can towards Rascal King to catch him before he decides to go splat.
Wait,
solid. That brings him to a 6.
Also, could Amber ask for like just like to give a boost, just like give her a surge of electricity that she can use?
I guess I could, yeah. I would. Sure. You would be asking that as I set you down, right? I'm assuming. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I would do that.
All right, so what's Amber doing with that surge of electricity to bring Max up to a 7?
Kind of just holding on to it to use. But first, I think she's gonna. Well, does the lightning affect the turrets at all?
It definitely brings their attention over to Alan, not to you.
Cool. She's going to assess the situation to figure out how to open up this panel.
So the panel doesn't open up; it's just a screen.
Okay. What's it made out of?
That's a weird question to ask. It feels like it's made out of like glass, but like warm glass, like almost like a contact over an eye.
Cool. She's just gonna try stomping on it.
Oh, so the panel's on the wall. It's like
it's on the wall.
Yep, it's like a hand panel.
Cool. Okay, she's gonna fucking punch it.
Great. So as you punch it, you hear this like hideous shrieking sound. And how are you gonna do this to help Max? Because right now Max needs another +1 to get to his 7, where he can like survive the thing.
Maybe the punch actually, when it punches, the ship lurches.
That works for me. So we punch, and there's this horrible shrieking, like ear-piercing cry. And as you pull your hand back, you notice that there's an eye inside the panel that's just like inset in the wall, kind of. Almost as if the ship itself is a living creature. And it lurches. And it lurches enough that when Alan kind of...
I'm just going to, basically, as I fly out, I'm going to like spin in midair, look back at Machina and go, "This thing's alive," and then turn and just bolt as quickly as I can to grab Max's hand. And I'm just gonna, when I grab Max's hand, I'm just gonna throw him towards the ship.
Yeah. Okay. So Max brought you up to a 7. So
I'm gonna mark a condition because I very much don't want to only be temporarily on the ship.
fair. What are you
So
gonna
I'm
mark?
gonna land in a heap. And I don't want Squire to land a 3-point stance next to my heap, and I'm gonna mark insecure.
Perfect. So as you land, all the lasers are blasting, and they are all firing at Alan.
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Hugh, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear, or at IcyNewYear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter, or at TPHuth94 on Instagram. Cataclysm Crew is GM'd by TP Huth. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yulin on Instagram. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.